The next stop is On the Radar Radio.
Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
Yes, sir, baby. On the Radar Radio. Yo, special guests in the building. The first ever On the Radar country artist in the New York City spot, because we are coming to Nashville eventually. Won't say when, but these are the first ever true country artists in this spot. The Kentucky gentleman in the building. Welcome to the show, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us.
How's it feel to be like our first country artist, too?
Hey, it feels
honored. Like I'm going to get a tattoo that says it on my arm.
yeah, it feels pioneering. It feels good.
Yeah.
Was it like weird when you guys were like approached to come do On the Radar, and you guys were like, because this is how I really want to understand like how it feels to be approached by us as a country artist to be like, come do On the Radar. Like, was it weird at first? You got why does a hip hop platform or primary base?
It definitely was. I was like, let me stalk this page and see what's going on.
Yeah, but also like the audience is it just. Once we really looked into it, and like, of course, we knew what On the Radar was, but just the audience, we knew that's our people. We felt it.
Yeah, I appreciate it. Yeah, you know, because like, and I think this is a great, and I'm really happy that like our first country artists on the show are black country artists, you know what I'm saying? Because this past year, one, of course, there have been so much conversations about black country music, and then, of course, like the hip hop country crossover that's been happening a lot. Mm-hmm. That like that's why I'm happy that you guys are here, because like I feel like. One, right now, I think more than any other time in history, at least from my focal point and even like my team's focal point, that there's more upcoming black country artists now more than like ever before. Would you guys agree with that? Or
I actually would say that there's always been the same amount. It's just the visibility is insane. Finally, people are
the eyes are on. People are finally listening.
Yeah.
You know?
What do you feel like makes now, like, I guess that visibility more present than before? Do you just think like it's becoming more accepted, or do you think like, you know, obviously you see the Beyoncé's doing things, like does that help? Like, what do you think has changed these last, like, I guess, like, let's say in the last decade that makes it now more accepting, more visible for black country artists?
Yeah. I think Beyonce's rollout, of course, helps, but also, you know, generations are changing. Each generation, like more and more people are listening to everything. More and more people see themselves in all kinds of music, and not boxed in as much. And so we see ourselves as those people.
Yes.
So we're appreciating each and every generation as they discover. They're more open to this doesn't look like I always thought it would look like. Let me, instead of shunning it or turning their nose up at it, they're hitting play.
Right. And artists don't need a machine to crank out music anymore.
Yeah.
It's throw the music out of damn selves, and that's what we've been doing.
Right, like it's cool because like then you see like the hip hop crossover the other side of things, like whether it's like hold on, John, take this as Bobby. Yo, you got it. But yeah, like with the hip hop crossover things, you know, you see like the Jelly Rolls or the Shabuzis, and I think like this is the coolest part about this whole thing is that, you know, now we are all able to bring this more to the forefront. Yeah. And I'm excited that I have you guys here. Like, so for you guys, obviously, Kentucky's in the name, for sure. Yes. But you guys are based in Nashville right now.
Based in Nashville.
Are you guys related to each other?
We're twins.
Twin brothers.
I didn't think that you guys were twins. I thought you guys were
1 minute apart.
Yeah.
1 minute apart.
I grew the beard, gained about 20 pounds, and that's how I made sure people know the difference. But we are twins.
Who was born first?
I'm 1 minute older.
Yeah.
We're supposed to be identical twins. But
he hates when I say this. I'm like, he's 1 minute older, but I'm 1 minute cuter, and that's what matters most in the end.
If you're into like
that go crazy.
If you're into like the baby face little thing or whatever.
Well, growing up, like, did you guys come from a musical family? Like, what is your musical upbringing?
Well, we actually were forced to take piano lessons growing up. I mean, we fell in love with music, like, period, as kids. And we always sat our parents down. We were singing songs, performing all the time. Yeah. And then when they were like, all right, we'll get you instruments so that, like, you know, you're better. And so so once we kind of honed in on our love for just, like, the art of music, that's when we kind of pursued it separately. And eventually, like, we just kind of came back and found each other and said, we're gonna do this, and we're gonna pretty much live out everything we did in our bedrooms, dancing and singing as kids. That's what we just said. Let's just do that for the rest of our lives.
So primarily, you guys were doing your own solo stuff at first.
Yeah, we were.
Then what was the decision to come back together and just kind of form this duo now?
It was the first time we had ever been apart.
Yeah. After high school, went to two separate colleges.
Okay.
And different states. I think I was at Indiana University.
And I was in Chicago, and I was studying vocals and other stuff, and I
Yeah.
was just like, I hate it here. I was just like, what is this? I hate it here. And luckily, like, we didn't grow up in a musical family. Like, our mom's a therapist and our dad's a chef, so like, there's kind of like, we don't know what to tell you other than get together and figure it out.
They're like, what can we do to make y'all happy? How can we make this happen? And we put our heads together, and we realized Nashville was the next option. We were 19 years old. So we picked up, and they moved us into a one-bedroom apartment in Nashville.
Yes.
That's
And,
so cool.
and
10
we
years
just-
later, here we are. Not in a one-bedroom.
Not
thank
only
God,
we
but,
moved up,
yeah.
but we used to rock, paper, scissors, who got the futon or who got the bed each night. And kind of, since then, taking lots of steps since.
Chicago's kind of crazy coming from, you know what I'm saying?
I don't know what I thought I was going to get from there, but who I grew up as in Kentucky was not working when
In Chicago.
in Chicago.
Yeah. Versailles, Kentucky.
Versailles, Kentucky. It's Versailles, not Versailles, because we're country folk.
Right.
And I got there, and everybody was just like, who is this man singing with this country accent? And I just felt like so out of place, and I tried to make stuff work, and they were just like,
It wasn't working.
It wasn't working. I was like, let me get out of here before it's too late.
See, you're talking about that. I'm thinking about like the first Chicago winter you ever experienced.
Oh yeah, there was people were walking down the street in ski masks from the wind, and I wasn't used to that. And I ran back. I was like, called my mom. I was like, there are people walking around in ski masks on the street. I was freaked out, but I was like, I'm not going to class. It's too cold.
No. Straight up too cold.
Too cold.
Half the time growing up, like, not even an inch of snow, like you're out of school for 3 days.
Yeah.
Or sometimes it's like, oh, it's going to be below freezing. You're out of school.
Yeah.
And so, like, whenever it would get that cold and we'd see like a bunch of snow piling up in Indiana or Chicago, we're
Right.
like, y'all are leaving in this? Like, where's the bread and milk?
Yeah, it was harsh.
In the South, everyone runs to the store and gets clears
milk,
out the
yeah,
bread and
yeah,
milk. So we're like, y'all ain't stocked up nothing. Y'all going to class? And so I think that's probably the most brutal part, especially up there in Chicago. I went to visit one time, and I was like, can we not go
Can
out?
we go home?
Yeah,
Can we go back to Kentucky?
Yeah.
Because it's funny, like there's actually this really great meme of like there's this Italian guy from Staten Island in New York who does like meme content. I think it was like during one of the hurricanes. And he's like, and the whole meme is like, I gotta go get the bread and milk. I gotta go get the bread and milk. And my whole life, I've always been like, why? Like, why?
What are you gonna make?
We
with
literally
bread and
don't
milk?
touch it. Like,
Yeah, like I'm like,
it's
if
just
you ever
sitting
really
there.
been in a blizzard, the first thing you're going for is not the bread and milk.
not at all.
But with you guys like coming up and like once you guys moved to Nashville at 19, right, and you guys were flipping the coin for the futon that night, whatever y'all were doing, how do you guys progress from there to to grow your career? Like what are like the first steps that like young black country artists have to take as moving to Nashville for the first time to grow in that respect too?
The songs in country music, the songs are so important. Having something to say, and so we learned that real quick. So that very first year, to get our worst songwriting out of the way, we wrote a song every single day for 365 days.
The one question that you walk into like a label or whatever, they would be like, how many songs do you have? And it seemed like it was never enough. So I was like, we're not going back into an office until we have a year's worth of songs. And so we wrote a song every day. Some of them were pure shit, but other ones, it was great. And some of them we still like sing around the house, but that's what we had to do. And like that was one of the things that barriers we had to break, was that like, they looked at us and like, oh, well, you're not going to write a good enough song. So we just kept hankering that out.
What was like the worst song y'all wrote?
Man, probably. Oh my goodness, what's the worst song we ever wrote? There were some bad ones there. I think one was just there was some generic song that we did. Like a lot of there's a way to approach a party song, and when you're 19 years old trying to crank out a party song that resonates with folks, you get real generic and you cringe when you listen back to like repeating over and over again. I'm a party like there ain't tomorrow, over and over and over again.
Like that was like the actual hook of the song.
Yeah,
and it was like,
I'm a party.
It's not too bad, but like
it's really bad. Like,
He said you ain't heard the whole song yet.
it's so corny, like how we did it. I don't know.
Yeah.
How'd y'all do it?
It was, oh my God. I think it's like, I just know the hook.
na na na, and we'll party like there ain't tomorrow. Whoa, 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 singing. Whoa, 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 whoa.
Nah,
Singing.
y'all lost me. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I was so, I was so until the whoa, whoa, whoa came in.
Maybe we need to go back and rewrite it today.
Nah, I ain't gonna
And
lie.
turn it into.
I think y'all got something there. Just the whoa, whoa, whoa part. It kind of felt like the these are gonna be the best day of my life. Like that, have like the same little melody.
It's got a real Disney Channel. And I
No,
don't know
dude,
what-
I ain't gonna lie. If Disney Channel gets back to making Disney, I don't know if they still make movies still, but if they ever do,
Big time.
you guys might actually have something.
I'm in.
Hit us up, Disney.
So the songwriting. So after you guys do the songwriting for a year, write a song every single day, and then you go back into those meetings.
Yeah, essentially, we had all these songs and demos and went back into those meetings, and still to this day, still meeting with the same folks, you know. So like, I'm glad that we, went back with better shit. But we went, but we'd go back and they'd see that progress, and
It was just one other thing that they couldn't say about us, basically.
Yeah.
That's what we were trying
It's kind
to
of like checking off the boxes of, well, I've got songs,
Right.
I'm writing with more people than just us, I'm actually cranking out demos instead of coming in with crappy voice notes and stuff.
Right.
Like, there's just lots of things to better yourself each and every day. There's truly are steps to it to become a better artist.
But you've worked with some pretty incredible people. Like I wrote this down too. Like you guys have worked with songwriter producer Chris Sly from Rascal Flatts, Matt McClure.
Yes.
Matt McClure, Lee Bryce from and Dylan Scott. Like so, you have had these already really big connections within the industry as well too.
Yes. Yeah, honestly, after so many years of that, it's real cool to start finding your family of people that you walk into a room, you write with, you kind of pour your heart and soul out, and after a while, kind of in Nashville for the longest time as Black country artists, it takes much longer time to find your home in people who get you, get what you're trying to say, get your perspective on life and how you see things, because a lot of times that is different in its own right. But when people do see that and then they start calling the people that they trust to be in room with you, that's how we've garnered the people around us and the incredibly talented people around us that help push us to be better too.
Right, and the last project you guys dropped was the Kentucky Gentleman Volume 1, right? And then recently we just put out the Neon Cowboy Chill remix, right? Last single was Leave Right Now. But what are you guys kind of working on right now? What's kind of the focal point and the focus for 2024 and what you guys, are you guys working on Volume 2? Where are you guys kind of at with that as well?
We are planning a Volume 2 soon. It ain't gonna be called Volume 2, by the way. Tricked you. But we are 100% seeing a full project in the future. But right now we're cranking out more singles that just kind of tell our story in our own way. We got this new one that is an ode to Dolly Parton and how she inspired us to be honestly sit up here and 10 toes down, be who you are, and keep showing up. And so we're honestly just going to keep hammering out ways for folks to get to know us some more.
I was going to say, you mentioned Dolly Parton, which I think, didn't she do one of the halftime shows on Thanksgiving? She went crazy.
She did.
Yeah.
She went crazy.
The outfit was
No, it was crazy.
Yeah,
But for you, who kind of because everybody has those artists that they look up to, that Dolly Parton's obviously one for you guys, right? Who else kind of falls in that same category that you guys look at Dolly?
wild thing to say because this falls in the timeline. But I was 18 and Beyonce, we grew up just from the 90s, just a powerhouse, and everything she does, we were talking about this, it's calculated, it's intentional. She just gets on stage and everybody just faints. Yeah. It's like the Michael Jackson of our generation. And and so she's one that we've always been we want that type of energy on stage. We want that energy from our crowds, and we want the energy. I was 18 and Derek always looks at me when I tell this story. I went to this in Chicago. I went in this random person's apartment, and it was I like this quote by Beyonce. Will you tattoo on it? And he tattooed her name in a quote by her. And I'm now I'm all right, Beyonce, hit us up. You're doing country.
Wait, you have the tattoo.
I have the tattoo with her signature under it.
Yeah, it says when I leave this world, I'll leave no regrets.
It's one of her songs. Yeah,
oh, that's fine.
And so that's kind of how we are when we're on stage or just telling our story and singing about our story.
Yeah.
But outside of Beyonce, there are other people in the world, there's pioneers and black country music that like just we look up to, and there are people who in country music today stand 10 toes down no matter what happens to them. Maren Morris is one of them. She
She doesn't care. She's just like,
what's real is what's real.
Yeah.
You know, and that's something that we look up to wholeheartedly.
Yeah, I think it's so dope, like the space right now, especially with Beyonce getting the first #1, which is so ironic that it happened like right before you guys came here too, which is how I know a lot of things meant to be, even from the Beyonce quote too on your arm, right? Because like I think somebody was like, it's crazy how this is like she's the first black country artist to get #1, and they're like, oh, and it took this long for this to happen on a genre that like we created, right?
Yeah.
That was like the tweet, and I thought that was so crazy because like, you know, I'm big on like the universe is like putting things in perspective when things are meant to be this way, and I think that, you know, you guys being here and us starting this series and that happening at the same time, like none of these things are coincidences.
I don't think so. I 100% agree.
Like, you know what I'm saying? So that's why like I'm really appreciative of you guys being here today. I'm excited for you guys to, you know, continue to tell your story through us and what we've been working on. So we got another project on the way, more singles. What else you guys cooking for the rest of this year?
Man, we're on a festival run. We got a whole lot of festivals this year that are with incredible artists that like I'm so honored to like be on the same bill as them this year in a way that it just shows to the work.
Right.
The putting in the work is really paying off, and that things are truly like being morphed in a way. This industry and this world is being morphed in a way that it's getting carved out perfectly for us. Our time is our time.
Yeah.
A lot of these festivals, there's Bourbon and Beyond with Zach Bryan and a bunch of folks later this year.
Tortuga, Lainey Wilson, and Boyz II Men's even on the bill. So
the boys men on, but that's fire.
Yeah, and then some festivals out of the country here in a couple weeks.
Yeah.
Like just we're on a festival grind this year. So if anyone wants to come out to the festival and hang, we're at the stage in our career where after I get off stage, I don't care. I'm going and I'm hanging out. So I will be in the crowd for the rest of the
drink.
That's
we
it.
Drink. I'm always down for shots.
Yeah, we're from Woodford County, so Woodford Reserve is always in our hands, and so like literally find us and we'll buy you a drink.
When we in Nashville, I'm taking y'all up on that.
That's it.
You're my witness. John's my witness for sure. When we're in Nashville, I'm gonna take you up on that drink. I'm gonna let y'all show us around. I appreciate you guys being here for real. Thank you again for agreeing to be a part of this and being the first on this series that we're doing here at OTR. By the time people see this performance out now, go run that up. You know what I'm saying? Go run their Volume 1 project up right now. More singles on the way. Before we get up out of here, let the people know they can follow you at your individual grams. If you have your own individual grams, these are your cameras right over here.
Yeah. You can follow us literally anywhere at the KY Gentleman.
And personal Instagram, Brandon Campbell.
And Derek Campbell.
Keeping it simple.
There you go. Very simple. I love that.
Thank y'all for having us.
I appreciate y'all, man. Look, go follow them. Go run up the performance out now. Go show them some love. Go show them support. Love is free, sports free. But y'all already knew that. Till next time on the radar. We out.